Blah, blah. Alright, what's up, dweebs? It's back. We're back with once again more reorchestration. So I'm taking that one thing we did and I'm doing it again because it's not good enough. Let's see. Let me rearrange my monitors here. Oh, you can kind of see that one poking out. So here's what we wrote before. And I want to go through what I don't quite like about it, and then we'll figure out how to fix it. And so this is what I wrote before. First, I think the ending is a little too abrupt. Not the ending, the beginning is a little too abrupt. It starts out a little bit too sudden. It needs to be a bit more gradual. There needs to be some build up. I also dislike how quickly the chords change. If there's going to be a bass line, I think it needs to be a bit sneakier. This part here, I think is okay. I think the melody could use some work. I think it's a little too loud. I just want it to be clear, but not loud, you know? I think there were... It sounds a little too grand, right? From an orchestration standpoint, it sounds okay. Just a little too heavy. Plays piano maybe with some other instrument that might be a little lighter. Climax. Again, a bit too heavy for what I want. So that's what we wrote before. I dislike how dense it is. It's too dense. It's kind of like a thick soup. It's not what I want for this. It needs to be a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more laid back, I think. I mean, maybe it could peak again later, but it definitely needs to do it in not in over a minute. This is only a minute long right now. Again, I think it's peaking a little too early, and that's never good. So we're gonna figure out how to fix that and make it all better. So I've pulled up another score. This is literally just a copy of what we had before, but I just removed everything. So let's get to work. I was about to go to sleep. It is 6 a.m. Well, then maybe you should do that. It is the weekend after all. Okay. So how am I gonna fix this? This 3/4 bar. I need something mysterious sounding. I think something with contrabassoon. I have not practiced my scales yet. Unbelievable. I'm so mad at you right now. I'm just unbelievably angry. This is my angry face. Grr. You know, I did write. Hold on. No, it ain't pulled up. Oh. Um, uh, oh, no, but I'm opening it with Firefox and open it with MuseScore. What the heck? I did write this like yesterday. It would open. There you are. I wrote these few measures. I was thinking I could use it somewhere, but if I want to draw it out, I want to think it was the invariation. That's what usually helps me. That's a good suggestion, but I want you to listen to this first. So after listening to the Firebird once, I wrote this. I wanted something very dark sounding. I think the beginning of the Firebird is especially nice and creepy, but I did it a little differently here than how Stravinsky did it. I want something ominous. And then it can, the nice rumbly bass can like turn into a nice smooth one. And I think it'd make it more satisfying if we had something like this move into my more pleasant melodies happening over here. Not over here, over here. A problem with this is that it's very clearly too much like the Firebird. I mean, the way Stravinsky did it, I think he split contrabasses with pizzicato, and some with mutes, cellos with mutes, bass drum playing like this. He didn't have any of these guys. I just added these because I think they sounded nice and rumbly. This contrabassoon, usually put the tuba above the contrabassoon, but here I put the contrabassoon above the tuba so that they're both in their kind of strange, their strange range. They're in their strange range. Normally you want to put the contrabassoon lower and the tuba higher for a nice like even tone, right? This is a bit more conventional. Putting the contrabassoon higher like this sounds very strained. I mean, the contrabassoon can play these notes, but like, it's not really that well designed for it. It's definitely more designed to play these guys. That's why it exists, right? Otherwise you just have the normal bassoon. And the tuba, of course the tuba can play these notes, but it doesn't sound as sweet as when it's an octave up. Generally, instruments instruments have their sweetest tone about an octave above from their lowest notes, right? It's a good rule of thumb, especially wind instruments, except the clarinet. Clarinet likes to be in its extreme ranges. Hello. But either way, and chuck a bass clarinet somewhere in there too. Maybe, we'll see. But by putting the tuba down here, it's very rumbly. I'm not sure if a tuba can play pianissimo all the way down here. I think brass instruments kind of struggle at something like that. I think you can mute the tuba, but I don't think I have that sound here. I have a multi vibrato sound. But no mute sound, unfortunately. I haven't used contrabassoon before. Contrabassoon is a wonderful instrument, but it's a little difficult to write for if you don't quite know, if you haven't quite like heard it before, because it's very dark. Its lowest note I think is the B flat, like a B flat knot, right? That's the contrabassoon's lowest note. Obviously you're not writing for that, okay? I mean, maybe you are. But it's hardly sounding as a pitch at that point. It's more so like a lion's growl. And of course, maybe that's exactly what you want. It's probably not exactly what you want. Again, like I said, generally instruments will sound their sweetest about an octave above. You can clearly hear the B flat there. But the contrabassoon can kind of go lower and still sound kind of cool. But, you know, it starts sounding kind of gritty there. Here the contrabassoon starts sounding kind of strained. Right, it's starting to sound like a weird saxophone, doesn't it? It's mostly just for bass lines and stuff. Often, in an orchestral setting, you'll see it doubled with the tuba. Contrabassoon below, tuba an octave higher. That creates a nice kind of cinematic sound I'm kind of wanting to say. And that's kind of a modern way of doing it. I don't know if a lot of folks do it like that these days. Tubists can play it pianissimo. I'm actually quite amazed at that. Is that so? I was afraid they wouldn't, and I'd have to relegate this to another instrument. The thing is, I wanted this to sound smooth, but still dark, right? If I had to put the contrabassoon is way too dingy, I think. Tuba sounds a bit nicer. Especially this low E flat. This low E flat's a little too gravelly, you know? The tuba is a lot smoother at playing these notes on account of it being a tuba. A little nicer. It's a little nicer sounding. I guess you could have them play in unison. That wouldn't be incorrect. No, I don't really like that much. The thing is, I could have like the normal bassoon play this. But the bassoon kind of has a really distinctive tone, especially in this lower range here. Like when it reaches this E flat, you can really hear the bassoon tone. But the contrabassoon blends well with the tuba. Again, on account of it being an octave above its lowest note. This is the bassoon's lowest note, B flat. And this is an octave above. So here, the tone would blend a bit nicer. But this E natural here in this part, it's like in the middle of that kind of gravelly range. Not gravelly, it's a bit rough, a bit more nasal. So you can hear that you can hear it a bit too distinctly, I think. I think bassoon sounds wonderful and distinct. It's just not what I want here. The ledger lines on the tuba are making me crazy. Right, yeah, hold on, I'll help you. Okay. So I think we should get to putting this idea somewhere else. I'm not sure how I'm gonna go from 7/8 to 3/4. But I am Shirgi, so I'll find a way. What? This is Largo. Right, because it's 50 BPM, this is 87. I think in order to fix this gap, I'm gonna make it at 7/4 instead of 7/8. Time signature. There's no 7/4 option. Looks like I'll have to make one. I guess I don't have to put it in 7/4, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Bonk. Okay. This is currently in A flat major, and this is in B flat major. But we can fix that. Wow, easy. You're a flute player? Oh, so, okay, that means you'd have no trouble playing this here. Very readable, very flute-like. Okay, so I'm gonna take this, put you here, but I need to paste you in a very specific way, because MuseScore has this thing where you can paste with double duration. Bang. I love that. See, ideally I would put you guys at a piano volume, like that. It's kind of hard to hear you though. I'm gonna have to be very careful balancing this. Because these piano pizzicato strings are gonna be kind of hard to hear, I think, right? So instead... Okay, you know what? I can just steal this from here. I also have this organ pedal that I could use. It sounds a bit too much like an 808 bass, though. I think the normal organ would sound a bit better. Tits always sounds nice. It really does. It really, really does. Let's choose an organ sound here. What in tarnation is happening there? Oh, piano jump scare. Okay, what about... I think I'm gonna need the great annual for this. Great. Oh my gosh. Contra Gamba? I can't even hear that. Voil. That's choir. I don't need choir. Let's do this. No, let's not do that. Let's move to the swell ones. I'm gonna pretend like I know what all of these words on the pedals mean. Salchional. Yeah, I know what that means. Oh no. Oh my goodness. What an awful sound. Float. Float. What are these names? I don't know. This came with the sound fonts. I like that one a lot. Okay. I didn't include an organ in my other one, but I think I should really take advantage of having the organ here. I do have extra pedals here. That's weirdly bassoon sounding. Oh man. Oh, what a bass. Not what I want though. Are you music students? Um uh I guess technically, but I'm not in formal training. So I'm not like in college for it or anything. But I am a music student in that I do study music. Diapason and cell sono are just types of organs. The flauta dolce is a recorder. A lot of the names are reminiscent of actual instruments. Nice. I do like the recorder a lot, and I wish there was a recorder sound. But there is not. Float. Okay, you know what? Just forget the organ. I don't think organ is going to help us here. Let's just do what we had before with the whoopsies. With the tuba playing pits, yes. Try a horn here. If I had a contrabass clarinet, I would make it play it, but I don't have such an instrument. My thing with the bass clarinet is that it doesn't sound open enough. It doesn't sound like it's like reverberating. The tuba definitely sounds like it's reverberating. Bass clarinet sounds very close. And maybe that's what we want, but that's why I prefer it on a brass instrument. Okay, not that high. Yeah, I dislike that. I should be having them in the same range. I could have it so that you are playing legato. Contrabass. I don't know why I can hear you so clearly now. That's fine. Okay, that's very quiet, and I think it should be very quiet, but I am struggling to hear it now. Raise this back. I think I lowered it because the original was super loud. That's much better. Okay, so these two chords is just the 1 and a 7 chord, which let me open my PureRef document here. Which would technically make this a Lydian progression. No, it wouldn't. That's a major 1 and this a minor 7. Okay, never mind, I lied. This is what, B flat major? So this is a F sharp, A C sharp. That should be a B flat. That should just be a sharp 5. That's not a sharp. I mean, assuming this is even in B flat, actually. If this is in, yeah, if this is in G, then this would, in fact, yes, be a 7. Okay. If I consider this to be in G minor, which is the which is this. It was in G minor, yeah. I just work in major keys a whole lot. Um, so I immediately defaulted to that. Okay, I guess we could have horn help out here. Okay, and then we'll just kind of have the same thing happening over here. I think trombone's a little too resonant. Or might be a bit better. Bring you back as pizzicato. I prefer that. Okay. Um, so tuba and contrabass playing together, and cellos doing a little bit of pits on top. Um, I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do for the next bits because I did have here. There's a little bit of harmony happening. And I think I'll put that back on bassoons. Quiet though, please. I'm not even sure if I like that, to be honest. Here, you're just repeating this, so just do that. And I guess I should add slurs to you. Just be nice and legato, please. Slur here, slur there, slur for me, slur for you. Okay. Do the same thing for the tuba. Alright, hold on, I need to pace you with double duration. I don't even think this is exactly the harmony I want anymore. I think we need to establish the key of G minor. But do I? I think this E natural might be fine. I just need to write it correctly. Let's try U actually. Yeah, something in me is saying this B flat is what I want. Horn is 2 resonance. Try bass clarinets. Bass clarinets, bassoon. Bassoon here. This might sound kind of strange, but strange is the name of the game. Okay, I kind of like that. How about bassoon and horn? These guys should harmonize. These guys together should sound kind of coarse, you know? Sounds like a bunch of sand in your fingers when you have the two bassoons like this. Dotted whole note. I don't think I've ever written a dotted whole note in my entire life. Probably because it looks awful. I did mark this as a 7 chord, which means it is an F sharp minor chord. So technically you'd want to do something like this. Maybe something like this would be a bit nicer. It sounds a little less rough, right? It sounds a bit sweeter. The contrabassoon is kind of sounding like a saxophone, but we could ignore that for now. Something like this instead. Hold on to that note a little longer. Maybe even... This might be very bizarre, but let's try this. Good. No, I'm not so fond of that as I thought I would be. Okay. What do I really want here? Try... You go back here. You go to trombone. I think in the Firebird, Stravinsky did actually use trombones. I dislike that though. I think bassoons would sound better. I kind of dislike the sound of this third though. Right, because they're supposed to be sharp. That would make sense. This 7th chord again, it is a Lydian chord. So I guess you can think of it as switching from minor to Lydian and minor to Lydian. And Lydian's a great mode. It is a wonderful mode. Okay. Let's keep moving. How am I going to tie this in? Because I wrote this out because I wanted there to be a nice ominous intro. But I'm not sure how to transition it here. I think I want to have a contrabassoon melody to reinforce that evilness. So I think that's exactly what I will do. And this chord here, this is that E, G, B flat, it's an E flat minor chord, which in G minor that is a diminished 6. I mean, technically you're a diminished 6. Like that. And I don't think this is part of any... That is... What? With the raised third? That should be... Is that Lydian again? With the normal 5th, not the flattened 5th. The A, which is the... Oh man, it is the 7th. No, F is the 7th. A is the 2nd, sorry. The 2nd, the raise this. Yeah, and then the normal sharp. No, sharp 5 isn't. No, this is C. C is the 4th. So yes, this is in fact Lydian. So this is once again 7. Okay, just to have all my chords down. It helps me figure out where notes are supposed to go. Because there are a lot of them, and you might as well organize them. Otherwise, you're going to be very lost, and I am already lost. This here is a 6. You should probably be more like... Let's go back to this. Okay. Or no, this is okay. Okay. On a nice smooth bass here. I want whatchamacallit, I want here, I want arco. And I think I want some tremolo. Okay. Yeah, I want a bit of shudder there. Maybe not so loud though. Never mind, I cannot hear it. Yeah, you just do that then. I'm not quite sure how to split up a 7/4 bar so that the rests aren't strange. I think I could split it into 4 and then 3, so like that. Yeah, that looks fine. So that's 4, and then that's 3. And then I want keep that shuddering tone. I like that. Also here I did include the, just like Stravinsky did, I included the nice rumbly bass drum. I guess I could do that again. Where are you? Koran kasa. There you are. How do I make you last for that many beats? Do I ever have to write a double dot? If I do, I'm gonna be so mad. But I think I do. A double dotted whole notes. I'm not even sure where to do that, but I know you can do it in MuseScore because of cuz. Where are you? I guess I could just do this. There you go. Oh no, that is disgusting. Oh no. That's awful. Bang. Bang. That is so terrible to look at. Drop it. A nice low rumble, right? Not actually sure I like it so much, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it's very subtle, but it's still there. I think maybe more interesting would be a very slight timpani roll. Roll the G here. It just kind of sounds like an organ pedal now. The bass drum is unpitched, so it just sounds like a low rumble. Kind of like the wind, almost, you know? It's very windy. You know what, that reminds me. What if I add, instead what is it? Atmospherics, a ratchet, a great bass recorder, a flexotone. What's a flexotone? So many instruments, I don't understand what they are. Bell plates. I wanted tam-tam. Tam-tam. Or I can add stamp. I can add a stamp. Foot stamp. Get out of here. 2 different music composition streams right next to each other. I love your voice. Thank you. I put a lot of work into it. Let's try tam-tam. You should be nice and windy. And also louder. Hello? Wake up. Yes, the tam-tam is very, in my opinion, it sounds very windy if you do it like this. It's like atmospheric, right? Because the tam tam is an unpitched gong, so it's just like that. I think you can make it play with soft mallets, which probably might be a bit better. Maybe not mezzo forte though. And actually, ideally I would have you be playing piano, but I can't hear you if you don't. It's just so quiet. I can't hear it all over all the other guys. I could raise your volume, but then if I ever wanted to make you play forte, you're so loud. Actually, you're not as loud as I thought you would be. I'm probably only ever going to use you like this though, so. Nice windy. I think it's Centurio who's also streaming right now. I think they do like choir stuff. Okay, the more I listen to these bassoons, the more I don't like them. Okay, so who wants to play these? You know what? Let's just put them on strings and see what I think. Although strings can't play that low. Okay, immediately I don't like them. Let's try clarinets. Although I'm gonna need multiple bass clarinets. I could just cheat. Because I am a cheater and do something like that. I kind of like that. How about, actually, put these back on bassoon. Ah, that's a lot more pleasant. I want this to go up, actually. Or, do I? This being a, what? F sharp, C sharp. That sounds kind of dull. Let's put it back to where it was. Three. And I go down here. Good. Bassoon. Try horns. Okay. I think I prefer it on the horns so far. Something nice and ominous. I don't know if that's quite the right answer though. Try. This one's a little more personal. I could try it back on the contra bassoons. Yeah, you guys sound a bit too dull. Okay, I'll do horn then, since it's the one I like the most. I just don't like how sudden they come in. That's just kind of the sound font's fault though. I'm not sure if the horn can play this quietly without a mute. Actually, now that I think about it. And muted horn is a little wacky, in my opinion. Sounds kind of funny. I think this is the best we got. So we're gonna keep it like this. Yeah, I think that minor 6 is not very good. Or, I think it's a major 6 actually. I think this 4th is a bit nicer. And then we can have some harmony come in here. G. What is G? I could make you a kind of an unexpected chord. This is switching between 1 and 7, right? So it could move to a beautiful other chord here, like that would work. What chord is G in the key of what? G minor, we have G minor, we have C minor, and E flat major. Well, no, those are, yeah, wait, no, that's in the minor key. An E flat major is the flat six, right? Yeah, if I look at my chart here, that is in fact Aeolian. Look at those pixels. Um, I did say I like using Lydian mode though, so technically it would make it a normal six. This diminished six here only exists in the Dorian mode, which is wacky. Please have a like this here. Okay, beautiful. And I guess you can quit doing that. Hold on. You and you. Beautiful. Oh, oh, nope, nope, nope. What happens? Okay. Same thing here. And I need some harmony to come in here. That's where we can probably go back to our original. Okay, I can get rid of this. There you go. So if we come back to this here, which is what we were using. I could try and nick the melody here. Hold on, I'm trying to imagine. Literally trying to picture something in my head right now, or listen to it in my mind before I write it down. Okay. Maybe I want to have like a, you know what? Screw it. Just put the melody in there, and we'll see what happens. Which is in the clarinets. I'm not even sure if I want clarinet though. I think I originally wanted it in alto flute, but I think alto flute just wasn't as, you couldn't really hear it through everything. It was a bit too dark, but I think if I do it right, I should be able to use alto flute nicely. Let me just switch it to my alto flute sound that I use. Bang. Okay. Hey. Virtual furries are weird. They are. I know, right? They're so weird. I would never, I wouldn't know anything about them though. I just stay in my classical music weirdo zone. Yeah, you can't really hear it over all those instruments that we're just playing. But the clarinet you could very easily hear. Yeah, it's just... I want to keep a nice low pedal tone here, I think, of this G. The contrabass can play this nice pedal tone. Okay, I call it a pedal tone. I literally have an organ pedal. If I wanted to use that instead. But I think this might be a little nicer. No, don't have this melody play just yet. I have an idea. I want some nice descending pizzicato here. Also, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Look at this. Let's fix that with some very ugly, but still slightly better dotted whole notes. And I also think that I should, like I did in the original, I'll put another clarinet doubling everything else on top. Like that. I like that. Or maybe horn would be nicer. Oh, whoopsies. Horn is probably better suited to play at an octave lower. I'll be nice to the horn and let it play piano. I'm no longer going to be nice to the horn. That sounds terrible. Get out of here. Just put it back in clarinet. It sounded fine. I could try bass clarinet though. Bass clarinet here sounds a little funny. You can't really hear it that much. You know what? That's fine. Play a little less. I did say I wanted this tremolo here. But I don't think you're going to be able to hear it unless I make you also tremolo. Okay. I still want that nice pedal tone though. So I'm going to put it in the pedal. Perfect. Okay. I think you... And then... quiet. I don't even think you can hear that. Okay, well you can, but you're gonna have to really put your ear to the ground. Because I want that nice tremble here. Actually, I want you to play a little bit of pizzicato. Which is why I wanted to free you. Go back to playing pizzicato, please. I'm just gonna put your mezzo forte now so I can hear you. You're a little too slow. I'm going to feel it this time here. A little longer rest there, please. And maybe you can shut up now. A little louder. And try this. I don't like that. Hold on. Violas, I'm gonna need you to help out here. But not like that. There you go. What do you mean other dynamics? Get out of here. Do a... That probably... I know a whole rest is supposed to be 4 beats, but I think a whole rest just takes on how many beats that... You know what, whatever. As long as... maybe... your half rests, I think, would be more clear. Because what I want here is something a little bit like this. But I'm not sure if that'll play out well. Because it's comes in a little too early. Let's play the note down here. You guys can be like this, so I can put some nice rests here. And try this. Or feel this out. Okay, I'm kind of working in free time here, really, but... Okay. Your avatar is a raccoon. You know, that's like the second time ever that I've heard that. Which is fascinating because I've gotten all kinds of animals. I've gotten raccoon, I've gotten fox, I've gotten cat, I've gotten all of them. And no one has called me an elephant yet, and I wonder why, but... Hmm... You a dog? Um, uh, I think I'm closer to a raccoon than a dog. But there's no telling. Who knows? That one feels a little too lopsided. I think this will sound a bit better. Okay. So I'm just kind of feeling this one out here based on what I'm thinking. I don't really have a way to explain how I wrote this other than it came to me in a dream, I guess. Um, I just need something creepy sounding. Okay. And I want maybe Contrabassoon playing a melody over this. Again, to really reinforce that evil tone. Maybe in this third measure of this weird melody here. This is a very strange length of phrase. I think everything about this is strange. Mm, Contrabassoon's a little too deep. I think tuba would be better, a better suitor for this. That doesn't sound very nice, actually. I think it's just a little too soon. Okay. The tuba is so loud that it just kind of overpowers everything. Unfortunately. That's why I wanted to put it in contrabassoon. I think bass clarinet might be a bit better. Okay, try this. Well, you could play these lower notes, but it cannot, for it is a clarinet, and it is limited in its use. Mm. See, it feels kind of empty when these stop. I think it'll sound less empty if I have something to dovetail this note into. So I could try some clarinets. I could also try horns. Horns might be a bit too resonant. Also the organ. And these violas, whose pits I can't really hear. So I think just having the cello play this would be good. Okay. And we'll have the violas take over these notes here. I think we'll put that major six back and then that viola can't play below the C, right? So I'm just gonna have to do it like this. And make you play vibrato. Oh my gosh. Piano, hello? Why are you so loud? Probably because I made you that way. It doesn't really work on viola though because it's a bit too high. It doesn't really match the bassoon. I think clarinet would have been a better option, assuming that it could actually play it though. My clarinets probably shouldn't do that though. Only you could play this B flat. Oh well. I can at least sustain this G, which I think is more important. A little longer. Add a quarter rest here. Add my dotted rest here. I guess I don't need to, but I need to be consistent now. Hmm. I don't like how suddenly you come in. I don't really have anything to match you though. Contra bassoon. I guess there's the organ. We could try that. So, come on. But I need to put the right setting on you or you will destroy my ears. Probably not the choir one. Not sure if that will play either. It needs to be the great manual. But you're quite loud. Yeah. I need something that can play these notes. Uh, I need like a shutter here. I'm thinking like a swell of some tremolos in these dudes. So like a um it's okay. These guys are just playing tremolo, so it doesn't really need to be super advanced here. Okay. Normally I would put you as a dotted half note here, but I want to make it clear that this is doing a crescendo here. So I want to see that. Um, but yeah, just keep it like this. And then if I have my dynamics here, oh man, you guys are not fitting this. Everything's too close. Cutting it a bit too close. Hold on, I think I can actually move you guys. Okay, you guys are a different kind of tremolo for some reason. Okay, a little louder maybe. Might be a bit nice. Try this. Okay, that's a bit too sudden. And then I kind of want you to switch notes here. And then you need a bit. How am I gonna do this? This is a little difficult because of these notes. You know what? Just do this. Just do like this, and then we'll figure it out. This will be easier for me to look at. Tremolo here. Doink. Somewhere in here there needs to be a mezzo piano in each of these bars. And I think it needs to be on this beat right here. Whichever beat that might be. Hold on. You. On the, what, the fifth beats? Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, here. And I can, I believe, connect these. I just drag. Like that. A little sooner, please. A little sooner. I changed my minds. I'm not sure if there's a way for me to articulate what beat this is on. I don't think I can. I think I'm... This is so stupid. I can't believe I'm doing this. You're on beat, what? 6. I put you guys all in beat 6. Because I want there to be another... I want it to raise back up again before we start at least the main melody. Doink. And then move back up here. I guess maybe I could make it clear using this. Just have one guy that's dedicated to measuring the beats. Please. Like this. And then everyone can just follow this example. That might work. Or... oh crap. Have everyone follow it. And tie this. Mark you appropriately. Tie this. Mark you. Thing here. Dotted. Tremolo. Tie. Tremolo. Dynamic. Oh, you guys. Dynamics. Mezzo. No. It needs to come in sooner. You're a little too late, I think. Tremolo here. Doink. Dynamics, mezzo piano, like this. Okay, this instead. Do I want it to end abruptly? Do I want it to end naturally? I probably want it to end naturally because it's me. So instead, we're once again gonna have to do something stupid here in order to get this to work. Tremolo. And then mark you guys all as pianissimo. And decrescendo. Make some space here. Oh gosh, that's so ugly. How do I get rid of this? I don't think I can. I will just have to accept it. I could move the rest over, but that looks disgusting. That's so bad. Okay, whatever. As long as it works. All I needed is for it to work. Okay, and then here, I think is where I'm going to actually start adding the melody. Finally, after all this time. Okay. I wanted to start immediately here. So, what? What is that? Okay. Delete this measure. I want you to continue doing this. I don't like that you're still smushed, but whatever. Okay. I also realized that I miscounted and that I actually want you to be 3-4. Bang. And just get rid of that, and also whatever that is, I can't stand what that is. And this is where the melody will start. So I will go ahead and copy this again and put it back in clarinets. A little slower, I think, but just a teensy bit. I just scrolled down the volume slightly. Okay, so what I want to happen is that I want the shutter to continue, but I'll include some harmony above it so that this is kind of like a drone. I guess I could just switch it over to bass drum, but I kind of like the contrabass doing this, so I shall continue doing that. Where are my chords here? I'll put you guys right here. So I guess I already wrote them down in the organ pedal. This is going to be kind of bizarre, but let's have some... Okay, you're still playing pizzicato. Yeah. I want you to copy the bass here a bit. Copy the bass. And try this. Okay. Now. Oh, yeah, you need to be... I also cannot hear you. You pizzicato dum-dums. Originally I had it something like this, which might be kind of fun. These notes here, I want you to be played differently, and I'm wondering how this will sound. This might sound really strange and dumb and terrible, but it's worth a try. You are G. G, F, D, G. I want you guys to play Legno. If I could hear the Colegno, please. I guess I could have them switch between them, but that would be really strange. Does my cello even have a Colegno option? It sure does. That doesn't sound like Colegno to me. I could make it so that... Okay, so there is a way I could do this, but it's not very clear if I could have the second voice play pizzicato and the first voice play the Colegno and just kind of designate them as a... Okay, hold on. Try this. Not that. Flats. Boom. And then if I take all of you guys... looks so stupid. And then if I have you here, you play auto, and you play Colegno. I'm gonna have to actually change this. X. Okay. Doesn't seem to be doing it for all of them, but I kind of like that weird effect that the Colegno has going on. Implode. Implode. Why won't you implode? Where's your implosion? All you guys go to first voice. Hold on. Selection filter. Select all of the second voice, switch it to first. Lock out all of the second voice, get rid of the rests. Please Colegno this. There needs to be something, I think, reinforcing these violins here. And it's probably going to be you. So I'm going to see if I can copy the rhythm here. Do hard mallets. And let's kind of take how the violins are doing here and match their rhythm. Literally. Palettes, tremolo, dang. And I think you need to be a little bit more abrasive. No. That sounds so stupid. I think bass drum might be better. And instead of pianissimo, play piano. This might be kind of fun. And indeed, let me specify hard mallets. I like that. That's kind of fun. Hello. Okay. So now that we have these guys, I don't really like this chord that much. Do I want it to be a different chord? I could have it be a minor 5 chord, which would be, what, D minor? So... I like this minor chord here, but I'm not sure what... I don't think I want it to be the same chord. Okay. That's okay. I'm not I kind of want to make this melody come out a bit sooner. I think because everything here so far has been mostly quarter notes, having a bunch of these eighth notes feels a bit unnatural. So I think we ought to extend this, I think. Start with just a quarter note melody and a half note melody, and then maybe like gradually expand to be the nice, the nice eighth note melody that we have here. Um, okay. And that'll also make it a bit longer. Wait, I'm thinking. Okay. Instead, oh, I'm not going to delete this, but I think I'm going to change something about how this is working. This needs to be a 4/4 beats. Time signature. Oh no, that's so gross. Hold on, let me delete these guys first. Okay. How long your composer? About a year and a half now. Almost. Let's extend this a bit more. Shunk. Up. Skippity bop boom pow. Oh, look at all those stupid rests. That's so awful. Get out of here. And all you rests go away. I'm gonna rest here. I don't know why you have rests. Send those notes out. I guess I ought to have the contrabass sweep in here. Hmm. Okay, so this melody here, I'm going to imitate it, but in a 4/4 beat. And then later on it'll go, when it speeds up, it'll go to the 3/4 beats. And I'll show you what I mean. Do I want it to be in, something tells me I want it to be in horn. I need something sweet sounding to kind of break the tension, I think. What is this? It's a very bizarre melody. So it's a little too slow. I could put it in quarter notes to make it double as fast. But I don't think that's any good. I could change the tempo here. I think I'll do that in this 4/4 section. I could just edit this tempo, I guess. Okay, yeah, it needs to be a little faster. I guess I have the perfect marking for this. Andantino. Just ever so slightly faster. First flutes. A little faster, please. Moderato. Good. Try this. I like that. So it's like a calling of the melody. Make it nice and ominous. It's 2 a.m. I need sleep. That's so fair. Go get sleep, dum dum. Nah, flute or clarinet maybe. Two flutes, alto flute. I could try this. This is something that I noticed Stravinsky likes to do. He likes to put a whole 2 octaves in between instruments without anything in between. I think a clarinet should be able to play both of those, but it'll sound very strange. Really demonstrating how much range the clarinet has here. I don't like how loud it is though. I wish it was a little quieter. But I did boost the volumes of these like an idiot, so I shall turn them down. But I think flute was a little nicer to listen to. Try horn and flute. No, I don't like that actually. Da, 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 da. Something playing counter to that. Much about sheet music and composing. I just want to hear the soothing music that plays. Oh, I don't know about soothing. Today I'm writing something evil. But the soothing will come later. It just needs to sound evil first. It needs to be nice and dark. And then like a wave of sunlight after the dawn breaks. There's this nice, wonderful sun. Because this is what I'm redoing. This wonderful bit here. I need it to sound like a scary, dark nights. That's why we have this very ominous melody in the beginning. And I need that to gradually move into this that I have here. Something that feels like a warm blanket of sunlight. Da, 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 da. So that's what I'm building towards. And I'm just kind of experimenting here because I've never really written anything as programmatic as this. And I think it will only be all the more sad because I was complaining earlier that I kind of have a lack of an intro to this. It just kind of starts. So I need something kind of creepy to start it off with. And I want something counter to this. Okay. Try bass clarinet, I guess. This chord here would be probably another seventh chord. So F sharp, C sharp. Mm, F sharp here. A natural. Move down to like D. Weirdly, that has turned into a major chord, which is not exactly what I was going for, but whatever. I think bassoon might sound better though. Quieter. Okay. I'm not sure what chord this wants to be. If this was an A minor chord, that would be a minor 2. That would be another, that wouldn't be a Lydian chord. If I had a C sharp, then it would be something like this. Yeah, like that. Because of music theory reasons, that should work fine, but it might sound a little weird. I want a nice G sharp here. Okay, G sharp. What chords go with G sharp? That's literally one. There is a Phrygian chord, which is flat 2. I did come from major 2, excuse me, which is in Lydian, which probably doesn't work as well. G sharp, hold on. G sharp, I could do C sharp, E, G sharp, which would be a sharp 4 chord. Sharp minor 4, I could do sharp major 4. I could do an augmented 4 there. Anyone have none of these have an augmented. I know Aeolian has an augmented chord if you raise the 7th, but that doesn't really count because we're raising the 1st, literally. I think I'll just lower it and see what happens. Ideally, I would. Are you moving in a chord of a 6th? Yes, you are. Okay, then we're okay. What the name of the software is this? This is a MuseScore 4. MUSESCORE 4. Natural. I don't think I like that. Sounds kind of dull. Okay, I think maybe I might be putting it in the bassoon. Much of bassoon might be better. This might be really strange, but let's put it an octave lower. Keep this tension. Actually, I want you to play this note again. Don't. What the heck is this menu? Please go back to this. Natural. G natural. I'm a fan of this first part, but the second part that I wrote down, I'm not so sure about. I like this questioning melody. faster. Slower? Hmm. I can, in fact, not sleep. That's not any good. Maybe you need some warm milk. Some hot cocoa. I know I'm suggesting that in the middle of summer, but shut up. It might work. I need this to be louder. There bang. Subito forte. Oh my gosh, that's too loud. Uh, it's summer, I'm not becoming jolly yet. Yeah, hold on. Summer's all about sadness and gloom, you're right. Again, I'm not a fan of the bassoon playing this here, but I can't think of anyone else who could do it. And continue this melody. Hold on. I'm questioning whether I should even resolve this. Take this part. Let's move it over. Don't quite resolve this yet here. Who's playing? Oh, I forgot to move you. Harmony part. Okay, and then repeat that in these two measures. Do I want to keep the tremolo now? They have been tremoloing for a very long time. But whatever. I'm feeling bassoon again now that it's a bit less sudden. I don't quite like this rhythm though. Wish it was less staggered. I split you into triplets. I might be able to do this the way I want. Donk, donk. Wait, what? Yeah, okay, I got it. Here, triplet here, triplet here. Wait. No, I'm an idiot. No, triplet these. That's a little better, yes. I need this fadeaway to be a little nicer. Like that. Add some rest here. And if I start the new melody here, hopefully it'll sound less sudden. Okay, it's a little too fast now though, I think. Probably because this is okay, I probably need to make these a bit more I probably need to consolidate the tempo of these two. And then I can make this work a bit better. This could be a bit faster, probably. Maybe. Let's put moderato down here. It's a little fast, but that's okay. Just turn it down a slight bit. I'm okay with that. This is a total of what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Do I want to start the melody here or here? I think I'll start it there. Which means, hold on. Palettes 3, 4 here. No, wait. No, wait, that's correct. Just delete this measure. And then remove that. And I think I will have the contrabass play these, and I'll just have the bass drum take over this weird tremolo thing that's going on. Where are you, bass drum? Tremolo, doink. Make sure to add a cue for you. Maybe piano. Okay, back here though, I feel like I wanted a nice tam-tam hits. And we'll go. Or like a quiet one, a really quiet one. Okay, maybe not that quiet. No, that's fine. What tarnation is happening with these rests? think this was supposed to go somewhere else. Not sure if this is gonna work now because I've kind of changed it. Yeah, we'll just leave that out. I always wondered why there's a little pizzicato there. It's because I wrote it to be there, and it did what I wanted to when I asked it to. Still feel like this is way too slow. It paced you with half the duration. Half duration. Hmm. My only choice would be to actually make you faster. Okay. You know what? I'll put Andante here. And I'll put just put Tempo Primo here. And I need you to be a bit faster. Please, pretty please, my friends. Allegretto. And then now we shall move on to the actual melody. But I think there needs to be like a lead in here. Have like a note. Okay, and then let's go copy our chords and stuff. Doink. Doink. And I'll put them here. And then we can see what this sounds like. If I like the new intro, if I don't, then I will just do it again. I will actually just do this all over again if I don't like it. But hopefully I don't have to do that. Continue this weird roll here to tremolo. Okay. I did have some harmony in the beginning, but 2 more hours recreating the same thing thrice. That's just how I work. I redo the whole thing over and over again until I get it right. And sometimes I never get it. I have this one piece that I've been trying to reorchestrate for months now. I haven't been able to do it in a way that satisfies me. I feel like maybe it's just the melody that's lacking. Or maybe it's just not suited for an orchestra. It could be multiple things. I've been meaning to get back to it, but I've just kind of been putting it off. Maybe next time we'll figure it out. Yeah, here we have some harmony. Let's Let's do horns. That's sad 3 months. It makes me very sad. But oh well, that's just how it is. Being a stupid perfectionist. You're a little too loud. Replace one of you with a trombone. Replace the low note with a contra bassoon. You're a little loud now. I guess I could just make you louder, but... But I want you to be nice and sneaky. So I guess maybe brass instruments are not the way to go here. Let's see. Could have a nice bassoon choir here, that might be fun. But you are very loud. Try alto flute, but have you play like mezzo forte or something. Let's add an old friend here, English horn. You. Put you with the rest of the oboe family. I like that less than I thought I would, but maybe if I combined it with something else it would sound nicer. It sounds nice, but I need it to be ominous. Clarinet and alto flute. Okay, how about we start a little slower and then we accelerate. So this andante I will nerf a little bit, just a tiny bits. It's becoming like adagio now. That's okay. Tempo primo, and then I want you to slowly accelerate as we go here to the next bit. Tempo. Akel. I've never seen accelerando. I've always seen stringendo, and I don't really know the difference. Is there even a difference between accelerando and stringendo? Stringendo. Played with a gradually increasing tempo, that's stringendo. What about accelerando? Let me guess. to be played at an increasing speed. What did I tell ya? That stringendo was gradual though, so I shall do stringendo. I'll just write the whole thing out. Stringendo. Okay, but like a little bit. Let's have a move you to andantino, please. Pretty please, my dear. Hopefully this tempo is good. I'll make you a little slower. And I'll reduce this. I need to change the playback so that it like matches the final tempo. That's good. That's only a little bit. So right here, text right here, poco stringendo. That's a lot of text kind of in one place. Yeah, whatever. I'm the composer. The clarinet is kind of growing on me as opposed to the alto flutes. Okay, but if I am going to have this guy, I want also cello to help out. Okay, you're still playing that. No, 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 no. There we go. Actually, I think I want you to play the nice pizzicato thing that we had going on. Some courtesy flats. Just for good measure, I'm going to mark you as pizzicato again. Or maybe I actually want you to play Collegno. Nah, pizzicato. Go back here. There needs to be some phrasing here, I think. Some dynamics. Right now it's just kind of nothing. You need to start slower, I believe, with Adagio. And then you're gonna have to really speed up here. Speed up some more. Okay. I'm gonna take a listen to the whole thing and see if I actually like the way this turned out. Actually, no, before I do that, let me add dynamics to this. Let me just add a nice crescendo decrescendo thing happening here. Oh, I didn't mean to do all those. Okay. Let's try again. I'm going to raise the volume because this is kind of quiet. No, I don't. I think this could be used for something else because it really feels like this chord here wants to lead into something nice and major. Although now that I think about it, this could come at the end of this current piece, but definitely not before. And then it's Star Wars so far. Nice. And then this chord here is a what a C sharp major, is that where you want to go? B flat, C sharp. Is this one if we go to what? Go back to B flat major? B flat, D. No, the C sharp is not part of. No, that wouldn't be correct. C sharp, maybe G sharp. G flat. Where does this want to be? Yeah, G flat major. Let's put this in more in here. Dynamics. Oh my gosh, I thought I said pianissimo. You idiots. Actually, rearrange this. Kind of like that. Play this note here. And then tuba. G flat major, which all of these instruments are going to absolutely hate. But uh, we can experiment with it later. Just bear with me for seconds. Let me just make sure you guys are doink. Okay. And there you go. At least it's not 7 flats like last time. Yeah, but it is 6 flats, which is not ideal. I might transpose it around so it doesn't sound so strange. G flat is such a hostile choice. Yeah, that's what I'm not quite sure why, because I think this is supposed to be a... Yeah, if I have... bassoon play this. I can also play this. Clarinet. I need to fill in the harmony here, so... Let's bass clarinets. There you go. And now all the harmony should be filled in to make a nice dense chord. Okay. Hello, hello. Good. I think this still needs some restructuring, but I kind of like the draft that we have right now. Okay. This stuff I'm more familiar with, orchestrating nice, sweet sounding chords. So you're still allegretto. Let me change that to tempo primo, actually. Okay. So originally, this part here was supposed to be a prelude to this, but I think it works better if it comes after. Right? Because here, this is very, like, kind of morning, very morning sound. Right, and then after this nice morning sound, we could have this very evil sound. Again, originally I wanted to come before, but I think it might also work after. In a way, I guess you could think of it as telling a story. Not quite sure what it would be, but I'll probably come up with something on the spot. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of this for a sec. In theory, what I was gonna do was actually fix this, but I guess I might as well just fix this while I'm at it on the score. The first problem was that there wasn't really a part coming before this, but I'm going to forego that for a second because I think, like I said earlier, this next part is a little too heavy. It needs to be edited. There's too much forte going on. Let me just play it so you can hear it. I think it's nice. It just needs to be tamer. It's a bit too bold. It needs to be more restrained, more grand, more maestoso, you know? And I think to do that, how am I going to do that? Because I kind of like what we have going, but I think maybe quieter tremolos here. This is definitely adding to it. You guys need to kind of shut up. Go back to playing, not pianissimo, sorry, mezzo piano. Okay, that seems a little strange. I think the timpani is okay. It needs to be a little quieter, I think. Maybe if I make it play with softer mallets, it'd be quieter. Yeah. And all you guys probably need to be a little quiet. Also you need to be quieter too. Oh, you're a counter melody. Shut up then. It's the horn and the flute that are playing together. Hold on. Second flute. How are you being played by the second flute? Second flute, first horn. I didn't think I would like this combination, but it works surprisingly well. Toxic counter melody, hostility. You're actually so right. The counter melody and the melody are in a toxic Yuri relationship. It's very sad, but they have to work together to complement each other. Don't tell them I said that though. I think having this play forte is also making it a bit too heavy. I like these tremolos. They just need to chill out. You guys just need to chill out. Chill out. It's okay. You don't need to be loud. You can be loud later, but not now. Okay, a bit more crescendo, please. Okay, you guys are playing a counter melody. The thing is, trumpet is a little bit too bold. Horn might have been a better choice. Maybe if I just keep it playing mezzo forte. Hello? What was that? Did I hear... Could have sworn I heard someone play a wrong notes. Okay, I guess this might have been my imagination. Uh-oh. Okay, so how am I going to do this? Let's think about this. We have violins and trumpets playing together. Mezzo forte. We have flutes here playing this. Flute and clarinet playing this part. I also notice you're decrescendoing from mezzo forte to mezzo forte, which isn't ideal. Please stop doing that. Go back to piano. Okay, I would like there to be a nice crescendo here. Again, it needs to be very restrained, very, very grand. Maybe even mezzo piano here. And then maybe to make up for the loss of volume, I'll have two trumpets play this. Nah, you can't hear them anymore. Put the back. crescendo here. I'll have the horn play louder. Okay, that's immediately a bit better. You guys can play forte because you're trying to play over the brass. Instead of piano, let's try, that's how you spell that, glockenspiel. Bang, bang. Probably not these chords though. Let me just steal from the flute here. Oh wait, hold on, you're in 3/4. That's too high. Dang it. I really wanted it to be there. Okay, again, too many fortes happening at once here. It's okay to have the horns play louder than the trumpets because horns, they don't really project nearly as far. I need you guys to decrescendo so that the strings take over, I think. Although this might be a bit too dramatic, which is what I'm afraid of. Yes, that immediately feels much better. Much more restrained and much more grand. Okay. The fear of melodrama might be misplaced in this context. It's not necessarily of melodrama. I just think it... Because when I hear this, I think of like a nice sunrise, right? It sounds a little too grand just to be a sunrise. It sounds like, you know, we won the we won the final battle or whatever. It's not really the vibe I'm going for. I just need something a bit nicer. And plus this is only like a minute long. I don't want it to crescendo too early. That's my thought process. I'm going to put these crescendos back. Let's say, oh, what the heck is happening here? Okay, I think fortissimo might be a bit exaggerated. Let's try this. Because there are a lot more instruments playing now. So I have to be a little careful, I think. No, let's keep it at that. And let's just listen to it and see. Okay, I know what comes after that, but I'll have to pull up the project. Someone here is playing a wrong notes. Who's doing it? I, I swear. Is it the strings? Are the strings slightly too flat? Is it you guys? Okay, I need this. I really want this counter melody to come out here. The one being played by these guys. Maybe you guys should have played Forte from the start. Good, I like that. I guess the tuba should also crescendo here. Nah, I don't want everything to crescendo. If the bass crescendos, then it will be very, very loud. It can just stay the way it is. It sounds okay. Let's move you guys to Forte a bit sooner, I think. Yeah, that trumpet is way too sudden if I put it like that. I could just put a crescendo here though. There you go, like that. Okay. I don't think my woodwind friends are going to like this very much, but you guys are competing with brass instruments right now, so I think you are going to have to crescendo a little bit here just to compete. You guys can take a break here though. Louder. A bit more maybe. Remove the clarinet, flutes only. Better. I like that. Okay. Go back here. I could have what I had in my other one where we had a bass drum roll, right? Let's add that here. Yeah, no, just to create a sense of uneasiness. A little quieter. Not sure if I like this clarinet, these clarinets doing this here. It sounds, I don't like that these are so similar in tone. Almost because they're in the same instruments. Okay, Shirgi, I know. I know. I think trumpet might not be the right call here. I think trombone might be it. At least for this part here. Maybe an octave lower, yeah? No, that sounded better in my head, didn't it? This transition here feels too sudden. Maybe it's because of the decrescendos. Maybe you actually need to crescendo instead of decrescendo. Do piccolo instead. Instead of this glockenspiel, I'm gonna try piccolo here. Let me change my piccolo sound, if you don't mind. Piccolo sound is weirdly quiet, probably because I nerfed the volume after hearing how loud it was, but like, I actually want to hear it this time. I think the Muse piccolo is actually much louder. Beautiful. Okay, that's actually what I want. You guys are ever so slightly out of tune with each other, but I guess that's just how instruments work. Piano who? Oh my gosh. I think normal flute would actually be able to play that nicer. Mm. We'll just have the glockenspiel actually pitch in here. Quieter. Or I guess I could use the softer mallets. Or maybe... You are pretty quiet with the soft mallets. I'm thinking maybe Celesta instead. Glockenspiel's probably easier to get a hold of though. Nice. Double with the glockenspiel here. Decrescendo. Once again, forte and decrescendo. And something similar here with the flutes. Don't play these last notes like that. I don't like this. Better, okay. That feels nicer to my ears. Hello, organ. I feel kind of bad for the guys playing the harmony. They're just kind of dotting chords. You're not even playing chords. You guys are just playing the bass. I should probably make the bass more interesting. It's just a bunch of notes. A bunch of notes like this. Okay, we'll figure that out in a sec. I'm still not satisfied with how this is played out. Trombone, go. Trombone, go. Trombone here. Bassoon here. Okay. Tuba. No. I don't really like either of these though. Horn here. Wait, what? I see. You're supposed to go like this. Okay, that might be better. Good. Okay, you need to like mad crescendo, otherwise you'll never be heard. Hey, like this is good. Da-dum, doo-doo-doo-doo. Good. See what I mean? It feels way too sudden. If I want this, you're going to have to crescendo into it. Mm-hmm. Okay, try again. Go back here. Remove this first trumpets. Yeah, I kind of need something in that bass, but I'm not sure if trumpet is the right call. But hello, thank you. Could try oboe. No. No. It might have been better just to have you guys do like this, actually. Instead of trumpets. Need that. Try this. No, that doesn't sound good at all, actually. I think trumpet is the only instrument that's not. I just don't like this transition very much. And I believe this moves here to this. This is a, this will, I think this will be an F minor chord. Why are you playing pizzicato? You dum-dum. Arco. Arco. You dum-dums better not be playing what I think you are. Cellos. We'll let the horns and stuff fill in this harmony. I'll just have these guys play the bass notes. Not, yeah, literally the bass notes. Maybe you can play a little bit of harmony. Don't play anything, actually. And then I want horns to fill in the rest. And quieter, please. Let's break it up a little bit. Have this, have a trombone play this middle note here, the C flat. Bass note be affected by the bassoon. Good. I like that. You can be a bit louder, yeah. I guess I don't need these re-dynamics. And then this 5 here. Oh, whoopsies. 5 chord is a B flats. This is descending fifths. Move up. B flats. Actually, you want to move up, actually. Right. Okay, lovely. Something tells me I want a little bit more trombone and bassoon sound here. So, bassoon, bassoon, wind can stay. Actually, try this. Okay, I prefer that. I prefer that. Let me just see how this. So, F, A. Okay, that's good. I do have this melody that I wrote. Just kind of on a whim, and maybe we could insert it here. So I have something to go off of. Let's see, it's I don't remember how it goes. Oh, you're currently in the wrong key though. That can be changed. Let's see, let's try this. Try, I actually kind of liked it in solo viola. Or put it in all the violas, why not? Maybe even cello. Nope, I disagree. Time for viola. And then... yeah, and here we need something kind of romantic going on. I actually think we need more strings instead. Let me add actually I want a violin or viola here. Violin might be better for these high notes. And a solo. I would put it here. Violin would be better though. Just one solo violin. I need to make her a soloist though. Made soloist there. Hold on, let me adjust that sound. Violin. That's not a violin. Okay. And then I guess you guys don't need to play anymore because I have someone else. Good, okay. You're also coming in a bit too hot, my viola friends. You shut up. How do I want to write this? There's that. I could have... That sounds a little too dark. I need something a bit lighter. Try this. You used to play. Dang, I've never played the violin. It sounds a little bit too thick. A little bit too thick. I think it's that G there. See, there's too much strings, I think is the problem. Too many strings. Just kind of a weird problem, but like, Thing is, the strings will sound too dense. I think we need to actually bring back these trombones and stuff because they kind of filled in that gap nicely. Um, see, that sounds much nicer. So we'll just have you guys play the fundamentals. Okay. So notice all the strings. I just have them literally. They're all playing E. We definitely want an organ accompaniment here. I think that'll make it sound very pretty. Change to a flute-like sound, please. My dear choir. Maybe something like that. Maybe something with a swell. Oh, yikes. Since you're an organ, you can play kind of dense chords. But I think actually would sound better if you did something like this. Also, you're too quiet. Hello? Nope, definitely not that. That's also too high, I think. You know what? Just to make things simple, we'll just switch between two different stops. They sound fine anyway. I'll just have to lower you an octave. That's okay. Okay, just some notes gonna have to change here to adjust for this chromaticism. And definitely a counter melody somewhere. Okay, you know what? I'll worry about that later. What really needs to happen first is that I need to set chords to this. I could keep the one chord going, although I'm not too happy about that. And try this. It really feels like this needs to change. If I could, I would move it. Could move it to the 6th. Which would be. You guys actually say it's just this B that changes to a C. That's not a 6. That's a 4. Why does this... That B flat seems so out of tune. It's really bothering me. Let's do a very simple 2 here. This is going to be a very easy progression. I just want to hear what it sounds like. Why is there some dissonance here? One of you is playing an incorrect note, and it's you. You're playing an A. No wonder it sounded wrong. Beautiful. Actually, let's try a simple 3 chord here. I forgot to mark you as 2. If I have you as 3, that would make you a, whatchamacallit, an E flat major. That should make you a G minor chord. No, the 5 chord sounded better. This is gonna sound kind of generic, which is okay, I guess, but I'd like it to be a little more different. I could stick in a Lydian chord here, which would be like this. That would make this a sharp, right? No, it would be a normal A in E flat. Yes, that would be a natural going to B. A natural. Move this chord over here. Nope, okay. Dang it, I really thought that would have sounded better. Doesn't have to be complex harmony. I wanted it to be, I really did actually. And then if I do... to be a... like this. This is F minor. I don't know why I'm blanking. Okay, and I think if I have E flat and G, could be another 6 chord, just to make a very easy deceptive cadence here. Although that would be, if I do that here, I want a different chord here. I don't want to like repeat too many chords, you know? It'll just sound kind of generic and repetitive. Okay, what other chords could this be? This could be a... It needs to go in between here. This is why 6 was just a good option. Ideally, it would have these notes. Okay. I could just have a very simple 4 here. Again, not too happy about this progression, but I can spice it up later. A... Oopsies. Move to 3 here. You probably also want to be a 5 chord here. Then what does this want to be? My instinct is another 1 chord, but I don't really like that answer. I have another E here. E, A, G, B, G. Okay, let's have a nice diatonic progression here, and then we can work on making it more interesting in a sec. E, that's again. And then 5. Okay, so now I have organ, strings, and stuff in place. Why are you so... Yeah, you're way too sudden. you guys need to do crescendo here. I'm not actually sure I like this melody as much anymore. I want there to be like a chromatic thing here, but it needs to sound good first. I think the way it was before might have been better. Yeah, that just sounds kind of dumb. We'll just have the moving up here, it was better. I also think that it might sound better if it was played on a viola. So I will change this to match. Where are you, viola? There you are. Okay, I like that. Do I want... Something tells me I don't want this whole string section playing. Okay, before I move on, I actually want to try this out on other instruments. I like the melody, thank you. Piano, you play it. Never mind, don't play it. Oh my gosh, shut up. Tuba, trumpet, horn, try horn. Oh, you're gonna have to kind of go down. Horn always sounds nice, but I think the way I wrote the harmony, it doesn't really lend itself to the horn, you know? What about you, Mr. Oboe? You might struggle with those higher notes. Flute might be better. Something about putting it in flute feels a bit more modern. Putting in the viola sounded a bit more classical. I can't really describe why I think that, but that's just how I feel. So we'll just keep it here. Okay. Let's work on making some nicer chords. So this is very, let's pull up my chord chart here. This is a very Ionian major progression. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're all in their respective things, but I like to mix it up a little by adding some other chords from other modes. So I'm going to do that. Definitely need this. I think this 1 to 6 is kind of almost necessary. What notes are playing here? This is supposed to be C minor, even though C minor is hardly ringing out in this chord. I think this beginning is fine. This, I think, needs to change. It sounds a bit bad. I don't know. I just don't like it. I would like a different chord here. But notice this E flats. What if I make you a major chord? What major chord would that be? E flat, C flat, E flat, E flat, C flat, A flat, E flats, G flats. Again, just experimenting with chords here. Nope, okay. Let's not do that. Something in my soul is calling out, put an A flat here. So I will. That's not A flat, that's G. But if it's an A flat, what chord does it want to be? Does it just want to be a 4 chord? A flats. This could resolve to with a, oh my gosh. I could do D diminished, that would be 7. I could do D flat major, which would be interesting actually. Whoopsies. If this was D flat major, that would sound like E flats. No, but something in me again. I still need this A flat here. Maybe just an A flat major chord is what I want. No, we're changing it back. Change back to the 6th. Oh my gosh, I was shuffling around notes so much here. And then the reason I ended this back on a B flat is so that another guy could take over this melody, but I need to add more measures. So that they kind of like bleed into each other, you know? So just for example, let's do clarinets. Like that, maybe flutes. And then you would like set up for a counter melody, right? But I think actually what I really actually super wants is a violin. Soloist. So help me, soloists. Hopefully you'll sound better now that you're in your comfortable range. If you know what I mean. Okay, good. And then you can do something. I'm not sure what you'll do, but usually when it comes to counter melodies, I like to cheat and just do like an imitation. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. You are but you need to be lower, so just lower you here. Yeah, this is F minor. You are 5. And just for demonstration, I'm gonna just copy paste you. doesn't sound as good as I'd hoped. That's a little better, now that they're closer. Hmm. Sorry, I need to go sleep. Alright, fair enough. I'll see you then. Okay, I kind of put this together really hastily, and I don't think I'm actually going to like it, but it's worth a listen, I guess. So just these. I guess I'll duplicate the organ while I'm here. Okay, that's what I have so far. I think next time, I think I already know next time what I'm gonna do. I want these melody, I want maybe something harmonizing. I don't want solo viola here. I want like a harmony to this. Maybe another viola, of course. And I think instead of string groups, I think string soloists would sound nicer. Something very Straussian. But for now, that's going to be it. So I'll see you guys later. Probably going to be back to writing whatever this is. I still don't have a name for it. I'll figure it out later. All right, bye. See you later. And practice your scales, or else I'll be very angry.